that this is being recorded, and please, everyone, be mindful of personal or protected health information that you are sharing in the meeting since it's being recorded. I want also to mention that we do have an attendance link, an online link. It's on the agenda, and I also placed it earlier into the chat. Click on that and fill it out, and if you are able to do that, that would be great. Housekeeping, we have 34 people and growing for today's meeting, so we are mindful of time, and basically we will use, as we've done for years now, the speakers queue, where there will be certain points in the meeting where I will ask for people to give me your names if you want to make a comment on a given topic or a question. We are sticking at those points in time to the topics that are being discussed. We do have 2 open forums, and those are 10 minutes each. We are committed to make those happen. They are both going to happen today and be 10 minutes long each. I will ask at the beginning of those for people to give me their name if they want to have an item on the open forum, and the purpose of the forums is, number 1, to make announcements. Number 2, you can make a suggestion for the meeting, a topic suggestion, any kind of suggestion. Number 3, you can ask for information or use it as a way to connect to other stakeholders. We do ask people to be very careful about sharing their phone number or email in this open meeting, but we, the department, can facilitate helping people to get their emails and phone numbers to each other with their permission. So those are the 3 basic uses of the forum. They are really not for us to have another topic in the meeting where we have a discussion and go back and forth. So with that said, I want to ask Danny, if you can scroll down briefly to the 2nd page of the agenda. There are agreements that have been made by stakeholders years ago, many years ago, and I just want to say that when you have time during the meeting, take a look at these. If you have the printed agenda in front of you or another screen, or if you can look at it, basically we're asking people to realize this is a professional environment, and we are here to act respectfully and courteously towards each other. Please refrain from interrupting other people. There will be time for everyone to make a comment. There will be disagreement. Some of these topics certainly are heated emotionally and otherwise, as these are obviously very important issues of often quality of life, life and death for some people, Medicaid services. We want this to be a safe place. If at any point during the meeting I have any cause to think that things are not being safe, I'm going to stop the action and mute everyone and talk about that briefly to get us back on track. Thanks, Danny. If you can go back up to the top. And so now that covers housekeeping. We are going today till 3:15. Please use the attendance link. So now for those people who are on the phone, and let me start by saying, Ron Heller, I see your phone number. I see you there. We have your name for today, sir. And Tracy Heller. All right. I don't know what these meetings would be without you, Ron, so I always look for your phone number first. Is there anyone else who's on the phone or otherwise cannot use the link and wants us to give you your name for attendance?
Renee Farmer.
Thank you, Renee. Anyone else?
Hi, this is Tony Benzor.
Tony, your last name, I'm sorry, say again.
Benzor, V as in Victor, E-N, Z as in Zebra, O-R.
Got it, Tony, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I will come back to that later in the meeting. So I mentioned about the speakers queue and all of that, and I failed to mention that there are a few different ways that you can get into the speakers queue. Number one is to, and probably the easiest if you're online, is to type your name into the chat. I would put in, for example, John for the Q. You can use the letter Q as a shortening and an acronym, whatever, for the speaker's queue. Number two, you can, at that moment, unmute your phone by pressing *6, giving me your name, or you can also raise your hand. At the bottom of your screen, there is an option for reactions, and within that, is that where it is? You can raise your hand. There's a little box, click raise your hand, and that's where you would also lower your hand as well. So you can do it any one of three ways, and I will let you know when those moments occur. So thank you very much. Okay, so we will move forward to the first open forum. And so let me do what I just said I would do. If you want to enter your name into the open forum to have an item, you can type your name into the chat for the open forum. Let's see, Brooke Snyder, have your name down. Adam Markert, is this for the open forum, sir? I'm unclear from what you just said. Ethan, I have your name down. Jessica, your name down as well. That's 4 people. Okay, let me stop there. If we have more time, we will obviously take more names if time allows. So right now I'm looking at the names, trying to figure out if we have any non-department, non-vendor stakeholders to start. So I'll start with William Eason Boudoin. Did I pronounce that correctly? I hope so. William?
Oh yeah, no, I was just typing my name into let you know that I was here.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but I didn't understand. What was that?
I was just typing my name into the chat to let you know that I was here.
Okay, very good. So your name is there for attendance. Very good. Thank you. Hey, let's see. Adam, go ahead, please. You're with Consumer Direct Colorado.
Yes, sir. And good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Markert. I'm a program manager over here at Consumer Direct. We're that training and operations vendor. And part of our role is to assist with that CDASS annual FMS member satisfaction survey. What a mouthful. So we want to let you know again, this is coming soon, and you'll have the opportunity to provide feedback on the services that you receive from your FMS provider this past year. So either for PALCO or PPL. There's 2 new features with the survey this year. One, you'll have the option to do your survey electronically via email. We received all the current contact lists from both the FMSs, that's PALCO and PPL, and sent an email out last Friday, March 17th, asking everyone to select an option for how you'd like to receive that survey, either electronically or by paper. If you select that electronic survey, you'll get that survey by email. If you select that paper, then you will get that paper survey. If you don't make a selection, it'll default to the paper option. You'll have until the end of March to get your selection or to make your selection from that email you received. There'll also be a reminder that goes out this Friday, March 24th, to make your selection. Both of those electronic and paper surveys are set to go out April 8th. So before April 8th, make a decision. Do you want to be the electronic or that paper? The second new feature is the addition of questions related to EVV. That is the opportunity for you to provide feedback on how that's going for you and your attendance. That was a big one. So again, please watch your email box for the ability to opt in to an electric survey if you choose. Or if you want, you can still get that paper. Second thing, and then I'll be off here, John, that CDCO has also been working for a long time in collaboration with the department on an e-learning platform for new IHSS members. We're looking to launch that in April as an option for those new IHSS members. They will have the ability to get that paper resource guide or do the e-learning, which is really fabulous, kind of a new modern user-friendly way. So again, this is just for IHSS new members. So if you're involved in IHSS or those members, just be on the lookout for that new option.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Brooke, go ahead.
Yes, John, thank you. I just wanted to do an announcement here to the group that the Direct Care Workforce Collaborative applied for and was recently approved for a governor's proclamation proclaiming the week of April 2nd through April 8th as Direct Care Worker Appreciation Week. So we're going to have some activities, hopefully some resources to share. So just kind of be on the lookout for those. I will try to get you all some information on what that looks like and some of the activities, but that is going to be appreciating direct care workers across the continuum. And so we certainly want to make sure that our participant directed direct care workers are included in that as well. So I'm going to put the email in the chat to contact us, but I also want to say it out loud. So it is HICPUF_DC workforce at state.co.us for more information or to be involved in that. And that is HICPUF_DC workforce at state.co.us. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Brooke. Brooke, for those who are not online, which we have, looks like several today, is there a phone number? Should they have any questions?
Sure. Yeah. Let me get my, you know what? If you will come back to me after the next announcement, I will have the phone number for that. I just need to pull it up for our group.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Jessica Corral.
Hi, everyone. This is Jessica, contract specialist with PDPU, the Participant Directed Programs Unit. I'm just wanting to let you all know that the update to the barrier crimes list, as it was formerly called, and now it's called the CDASS background check high-risk crimes employer guide, it's a mouthful, has been updated and it will be posted through the HICPUF memo series. I was hoping that that could be done prior to today's meeting so we could walk through it, but unfortunately it did take more time than I planned. But it should be available through the memo series by the end of this week, possibly early next week, and then we'll walk through it next month in more detail. So I'll put the link in the chat for the memo series. I know those of you who are calling in obviously don't have access to the chat. So keep an eye out for a copy of that new list of high risk crimes for CDASS to go out through John's PDPPC mailing next month. If anyone has any questions about it that they'd like to talk to me about, you can reach out to me. My number is 303-866-3504, 303-866-3504, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you, Jessica.
Oh, sorry, John, can I do one more thing?
Sure.
I forgot I had to. I just also want to bring attention to those of you who might have noticed Adam's announcement included him mentioning he is the program manager for CDCO. This is a title that is provided to individuals who work on our contracts. We call the teams key personnel. And this position, many of you might know, was formerly filled by Stephanie Reese. Adam is now the lead for Consumer Direct and our contract with Consumer Direct. So we want to welcome Adam into this new role and just say that he has been incredibly helpful. He will continue to be incredibly helpful and informative to everyone. And if you have any questions about that, you can either reach out to me or Adam himself. So thank you and congratulations, Adam.
Thanks very much, Jessica. Okay, Brooke, are you with us?
I am, and I have a phone number. So if you'd like to get in touch with the Direct Care Workforce team, please call 303-866-5102. That's 303-866-5102, and that will come to me and I can direct to the team as needed. Thanks, John.
Thanks very much, Brooke. You can type that in the chat also. Somebody did? No, if you can do that, that'd be great.
You betcha.
Sure. I would like to take a minute to mention that for those of you who knew him we got news last week that Tim Thornton has passed away. Tim, to my mind, number one advocate, and also, yes, a provider, IHSS. Tremendous person, was involved with the PDPPC for many years. Great person. And personally, and I'm sure, I know as an organization, we mourn his loss, and it's tough. He was a great guy. So there is not going to be a public memorial service. I got that information from the family. So, but anyway, wanted to mention that for those of you who knew and remember Tim. Thank you. So we are ahead of schedule here. I will move right on to the next item, which is mine. Actually, this is the John Barry show today, so everyone else can just sit back. There are certain things. This group has been going for 12 years, and there are a number of components to it: the stakeholder co-chairs, voting, the attendance, the listening queue, speakers queue, open forums, most, if not all, of which are stakeholder inventions. By the way, this is a stakeholder-led group, which to my mind means that we work collaboratively, thus that name and that word in the title, the collaborative. And among these many elements is the stakeholder co-chairs. We have two of them, Kurt Wolf, who is, and has shared to this group, a CDASS employer, and Kevin Smith, who is an IHSS recipient and as well works for an IHSS agency. And they have, by the way, been in their role for, my gosh, several years now. 2-3 years ago, we had an election where they were reelected. And so I just want to say that this role exists. We have these two folks, and thank you, Kurt and Kevin, for your years of service. But for those who are new and may not really understand that this is an integral part of the whole thing, this might be one in a series of things that I just highlight from meeting to meeting to explain, for example, the whole issue around recommendations. It's been very active recently, and I personally am glad to see that, by the way, that this group is submitting more written recommendations than had been over some years ago. Perhaps there's more of a need now. Perhaps there's more activity here in the group now. For whatever reason, it's a good thing. But the co-chairs have a defined role, which part of my job here today is to say that to you and to say that I am going to send out the written version of that defined role after running it again one more time by Kevin and Kurt and the other staff, because this is years old, and we did put out that information during the last election for co-chairs, during which, again, Kurt and Kevin were reelected. But I think that would be good for people to know so that they understand that these co-chairs are there to be available and to be responsive and to act as a liaison between some other stakeholders in the department regarding CDASS and IHSS and this group. And each month, for example, we do a prep call, video call, where we talk about what happened in the last meeting, we talk about what's happened in other recent meetings, talk about topic requests that we're getting, whether they're through the online topic request form, which, by the way, I'm going to make sure we get that in the chat today so you can take a look at it, or whether we get them verbally during a meeting. The meetings are, and that reason that happens is a transparency reason that the department is working with stakeholders to develop agendas for these meetings. Decisions are made about what do we cover this month, what should we cover next month, what do we need to wait on a couple months, so on and so forth. So that is a thing. The stakeholders work with us month in and month out. I'm going to stop and ask if Kurt or Kevin, you have anything you want to add. Obviously, this is your role. You may not, but that's okay. But I thought you deserve a moment to see if you do.
That's good. No, Kurt here,
Hello.
John. How you doing?
Good, Kurt. Hi.
Hey, everyone. So I just wanted to add the best thing about the role, if anyone is interested in becoming a co-chair, is not only advocating for everyone on in this group, but we have done a great job pushing through some changes with the state. The most recent one regarding the barrier crimes. We also did the changing of the age to 16, and that all happened in the last year or so. So if you're interested in improving things and making things better, I know we have a few other things we're talking about, but definitely don't hesitate to step up. And it's not a lot of time. We have the prep call and a few calls from here today to help advocate and understand what's going on. So that's my 2 cents, John.
Thanks very much, Kurt. And Kevin, you may or may not have anything to add, but I'll stop for a moment and see if you do. Okay. So I'm going to send out to the email list a written description that we kind of used in the last election. See if there's anything that needs to be updated per Kevin and Kurt. And then just have a brief topic, next time to see if anyone has any questions about that. So with that, I will stop. And again, we are ahead of schedule here today, but I think Christine Dos Santos is with us. Christine, are you covering the next item?
I sure am. Thanks, John. So hi, everyone. Christine Dos Santos with the department. I'm here to give a brief update about the work that the CDASS CFC work group is doing. We had a meeting on March 9th around from 1 to 2:30. We had 21 participants join us. In that meeting, we were discussing supporting members experiencing unstable health. And excuse me. The work group reviewed 2 CDASS rules that will need to be changed as a result of transitioning CDASS into CFC. Those 2 rules are related to the stable health requirement to participate in CDASS, as well as the prohibition of CDASS members utilizing additional clinical support, such as long-term home health or private duty nursing. The work group discussed the challenges that may be faced by members who are experiencing unstable health or may be new to self-direction, or may also be transitioning from a more traditional model or traditional agency-based model of care, such as long-term home health or PDN. The work group provided some feedback in regards to this, and the major take-homes from that conversation or feedback from that conversation was that nursing support could be beneficial to CDASS members, but it should not be mandatory for all members. CDASS members want nursing support that is not necessarily tied to a traditional agency-based skilled nursing care, such as long-term home health. And that access to nurse training for attendance and consultative support would be beneficial for some members, especially those new to the CDASS program. So that was a brief summary of what that work group worked on this month. We will be having our next work group coming up on April 19th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. If you are interested in partaking in that group and joining us for our discussions and haven't already filled out the CDASS CFC work group interest form, I will provide the link in the chat, as well as you could give us a call by phone. You can call Jordan Larson at 303-866-3580. And then just another call out to our next CFC council meeting. If you have not come and join us to hear the newest updates around CFC or Community First Choice, our next council meeting is scheduled for April 5th from 10 a.m. to 11:30. And that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to take some.
Folks, if you do, you can type your name in the chat. You can raise your hand in the webinar. It'll show up on my screen. You can unmute your phone right now and give me your name. Anybody? CFC, CDASS work group. Okay, Robin Bulldog, thanks. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, I'm painting. It takes me a minute. Yeah, I probably will be at the next one. I'll try to be there. But I guess, I know you said a few things that struck fear in my heart. So just to clarify, no one will be mandated to use nursing care if they don't want it. Even
Correct.
if, thank you. That was
Yes. No, that was, I should have accentuated. I should have accentuated that and said not mandatory. No, there is no intention to make it mandatory. We really are just looking at ways to support people who do want or do need some additional clinical support. We know that there are a lot of longstanding members of CDASS who do not need nor do they want to have involvement from a nurse or an agency in any way, shape, or form. But because CFC is kind of changing the game a little bit, where we are allowing anybody to access CDASS, we want to make sure everyone feels supported and can be successful in the program.
And that I absolutely agree with, especially folks transitioning. I hear from a lot of parents who had private duty nursing and then their children are now adults and they're so used to private duty nursing, they're afraid to go into CDASS. So I think that transition is really good. So I absolutely agree. But at the same time, my husband's on a ventilator. We've never used a nurse in over 20 years. And, my son's a nurse, so we use him, but he's used as a CDASS attendant and he's not working under his license. So I want to make sure that we don't start looking at the Nurse Practice Act and relating it to participant direction in any way, shape, or form.
Do not worry, Robin. And I hear you. Your concerns you're not alone in those concerns. And the department is very much aware
thank you.
Of that. So,
but
great. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robin. And I want to note Julie Riskin's comment in the chat, nothing in our current program stops people from hiring a nurse if they want one. Thanks, Julie. Anyone else have a comment or question for Christine regarding
John, this is Dolores Hurley. I wanted to let you know I'm here.
Okay, thanks, Dolores. I have your name down. Good to hear you.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments, questions before we move forward about this topic? Okay, thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
We are severely way ahead time-wise. Something always happens to undo that, so no worries. I think we ought to move into the next topic, which is the EVV improvements discussion. And as we've talked about in the past, oh, I'm sorry. Is there someone else?
It's Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Just have one tell you. I just have one question. Is all this that's been recorded going to be sent out somehow so us people on the phone can read it and understand everything that's going on?
Ron, that is a great question. And the answer is that the recording is an online mechanism that one needs to go in online through some computer device. Might be a phone, if you can click the link, a cell phone. But other staff, correct me if I'm wrong, because I very well could be, but I believe this is an online thing. What we do is post the link to the mechanism, to the recording on our PDPPC webpage. I've been sending it out. My commitment is to get the link out to everybody by the end of next week. Now that we're doing this on a regular basis, I've sort of worked out my process so we can get the recording out as within some reasonable amount of time for people to listen to.
That'll be wonderful. That's what I wanted. Thank you.
Okay, you bet. Thank you. And I do want to acknowledge that this, what I just described, perhaps points to one flaw in this, which is simply that people who don't have a computer, don't have internet, won't be able to get to that link. And I fully recognize that. So apologies for that. We are now moving to the EVV improvements discussion. We've been doing this for many months now. I don't know how long, Jessica will know. We have about 20-minute period and we have 5 items. We're going to do about 4 to 5 minutes for each item. And I will start by asking if there's anyone who wants to put their name into the queue for item number 1. CDASS participants who want to mention what is going well, and item number 2 will follow that, what is not going well. They both have equal importance, obviously. Number 1, any names for the queue? I'm looking at the chat. You can raise your hand in the webinar. You can unmute your phone right now, *6. Hearing none, I will move us to item number 2. What is not going well with the EVV for CDASS?
Nathan had his hand up.
Oh, he did. I beg your pardon. I see it now. Sorry,
Hey,
Nathan,
John.
you go ahead. Go ahead, sure.
Well, directly on the positives, I just want to say that recently, I know with PPL, we had some confusing things come across. I don't know if they were resets or updates. I forget exactly, but it would have been the first thing that I and my attendants seen that could have been problematic, but they seem to once again be ahead of the game. And before we could even determine whether or not it was going to be a problem, it was already taken care of. So whatever the reset did that kept us behind and wasn't updating immediately, I think it was a maintenance thing, over the weekend or something. By the time they had the week started, it was already taken care of for us. So that's definitely a good thing.
Okay. Great, thank you. Thanks, Nathan. Sorry I missed your hand there immediately.
No problem.
Number 2, what is not going well? So now I am looking for hands raised. I am looking at the chat. And obviously you can also unmute your phone by pressing *6 to give any sort of information you want about what is not going well with EVV related to CDASS. I am seeing no one in the chat yet. I am seeing no hands raised. Hearing none. Okay. I will move us to number 3. What improvements have been pursued? I will turn it over to Jessica.
Hi, everyone. No changes really from last month's meeting. The department did receive one issue report through our online issue report form from a member having trouble, and so in her attendance having trouble. And so the department did assist that member with getting the technical assistance they needed from the FMS. And I do believe that solved the issue and went well. So just another reminder that stakeholders can continue to provide feedback or escalate the issues that you're experiencing to the department if you have had your issue go unaddressed by your FMS. And you can do that through the issues form, which I'll put the link in the chat, or you can email our inbox hcpf_PDP@state.co.us, or give me a call, 303-866-3504. Thank you.
Okay, Jessica, so let's see. PPL, do you have anything, and you may not, that you want to say for number 3?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Rebecca with Public Partnerships. Yeah, just a quick update. We had an app update release for Time for Care. It's version 9.6 that was released on March 9th. And with that update, we had some improvements that we made. We updated the time entry and payroll pages to make it more clear which filters are turned on. We hope this makes it easier for users to know the specific time frame and the status of the entries being viewed without having to go into the filter itself. We also discovered an improvement we could make that was more surrounding user behavior. It was just having to do with when someone's clicking a button in the app. Sometimes it gets clicked multiple times, and it was creating unexpected behavior in the app and issues. And so we kind of fixed that now so that the first time it gets clicked, it'll execute then, and it doesn't keep trying to execute if it gets clicked multiple times. So that is good. We put that feature into place, and then we also, and that feature will be helpful when we're having like peak volume system processing where there's a lot going on too. It'll help things to move a little smoother. And then the other thing we're looking at, we're actually considering like a new calendar feature to the app where you can like set a schedule ahead of time for yourself of what you're going to work. And then the app will send you like a reminder when it's time to clock in or do your time entry kind of thing. We're piloting it in some other programs right now. So it's not in Colorado yet, but maybe coming soon. And, you know, feel free to give us any feedback you might have concerning that new feature if you have ideas or thoughts that you want to share with us. I do want to remind people that you can always contact the EVV help desk if you're ever having any issues with the app. And there's a phone number for that and an email. Ashley, I believe, is going to throw that in the chat. She might have already. Yes. So the PPL EVV help desk number is 1-833-204-9041. Again, it's 1-833-204-9041. You could also email the EVV help desk at ppl_cs_EVV@pcgus.com. I'll read that again. The email is ppl_cs_EVV@pcgus.com. Thank you.
John, this is Patricia. I have a couple of questions about that. Yesterday I was running like some budget reports and for PPL, and the numbers weren't correct. So I called the 1-800 number. Should I be addressing that through the EVV? Because they weren't able to help me.
Let me go back to Rebecca. Is that something you can respond to?
Yeah. Hi, Patricia. You should be calling customer service. That's the correct place to call. I know with the MMES or the monthly expenditure reports, customer service can help to some extent with those. If it gets more complicated, we'd have to, you know, pull in other assistants like our IT and stuff. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but we can definitely follow up on it for you. But the EVV help desk is more for the app time for care issues. So, but concerning the help or the report, if you want us to kind of connect with you offline, we can look at what that issue is.
Yeah, that would be great.
Great.
Okay,
so
sounds good. We'll do that.
Okay, you'll reach out to Patricia. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Palco, we're on item number 3. If you have anything
Hi, John Barry.
to talk about.
Hi, this is Nicole from Palco. We don't really have any updates this month for 3, 4, or 5.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
So Jessica, we'll move to number 4.
Thanks. So I think this one is what has been accomplished. The first thing isn't necessarily accomplished yet, but it's close. So I'll include it here, which is just to reiterate what I shared last month, that we are working to update our PDP, Participant Directed Programs Unit website. And that's a process that we have to go through with some other staff in the department. And so our goal really is to include much more information about a number of things, including EVV, as well as make sure that there's the correct links to redirect people to our EVV unit, because ultimately our EVV unit does manage the requirements and policy around EVV. So when that is ready to go and updated, we'll definitely get the word out to you all. In terms of the EVV compliance protocol and the progress with that, you should have seen in the materials John sent out this month that standing one pager that our EVV unit and Jillian pulls together. Compliance remains good. And if there are any changes or needs to update you all in terms of specific EVV compliance protocol policy, we will continue to do that here in PDPPC. Nothing of note this month, though. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. So PALCO has expressed they don't have anything for this item. Rebecca, anything for number 4? What has been accomplished?
Oh, yeah, no updates, just what I've already shared. Thank you.
Yep, very good. Okay. Number 5, what improvements are being planned? You may have covered this, Jessica, I'm not sure.
A little bit in the last one, didn't I? Nothing outside of what I've shared. Again, I think as it relates to specific improvements that are needed, it really hinges on hearing from individuals about what is not going well. And so there are a number of ways that individuals can continue to give us that feedback, and we will take that and work with PALCO and PPL as needed. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Rebecca, I believe from what you said before, you may have nothing for this item as well, but just checking.
Sorry, John, which item is it?
Well, we're on number 5 and may have nothing further today, but what improvements are being planned?
Oh, yeah, just that calendar feature is what I had mentioned earlier. So
okay. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, so our next item is the request for proposal RFP update. Jessica?
Yeah, thanks, John. I'll give Danny a second to pull up the timeline that was included, and apologies for having John help to send this out a little bit late. It was a dedicated email because it didn't make its way into the main email, but hopefully you all saw it. This is just a very basic timeline that we want to share with you all in terms of the RFP that the unit is working on. So RFP, that's a request for proposal. And for those of you who are not familiar with requests for proposals, those are solicitations, and specifically a document that solicits a good or service from companies that can provide those. And the department does require that we go out for RFP for our FMS services, as well as our training and operations services that we provide to IHSS and CDASS. It is required because of the amount of money that is connected to those contracts. And the cycle that each of these contracts is on is a 5-year cycle, and that's standard for the department. So we're coming to the end of a 5-year cycle, and this is the months ahead. So I'll not read every single point on this timeline, but just highlight the key ones. We're currently in a stakeholder feedback gathering phase. This is going to continue through the end of March. And we're going to take the feedback and analyze that in early April. Many of you should have been notified through a variety of means that a survey has been shared with you all to provide your feedback on FMS services specifically. What is important to you, what has gone well, that kind of thing. If anyone did not see that survey or needs or wants to provide feedback in a method that's not a survey, you can reach out to me. In August, the RFP documents, the RFPs will be posted. We are looking to procure 3 FMS contractors. We've historically had 3. Obviously, currently we only have 2, but that is the goal. And then 1 training and operations contractor. The solicitation is open to the public, and there's a dedicated website that I do believe all state departments use, if I'm not incorrect. And so that information about the RFP is going to be posted to our PDPU webpage very soon. That's part of the slate of changes that I'm working on. Moving along to once those the bids for solicitation come in, they're going to be evaluated by a committee. That'll happen in about November, early November, mid-October of this year. Once the committee selects the best companies, contractors, based on their bids, awards will be sent out, and then we'll work to finalize any specifics of the contract as needed with the guidance of our contracts and procurement division. April 1st will be the start of a transition period if we need to transition any of our current contractors out to bring in new ones. We will really be thoughtful and intentional about the process to make sure it has as little disruption, as little burden on stakeholders and particularly members as possible. Some of you may have gone through that in the past, and so can remember what that was like. And then officially, the start of new contracts will be July 1st, 2024. And that's the start of a fiscal year for the department normally. So hopefully this is helpful. Again, it's a high-level overview, but more information will be available on our webpage that you can look at. And as we move through the timeline, I'll provide updates. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out.
Hey,
That's it.
this is
Thanks,
John.
John.
Sure, if anyone has any questions or comments right now, you can certainly raise your hand in the webinar, type your name in the chat for the queue, mute your phone by pressing *6 if you're on the phone only. Regarding the RFP, request for proposal, seeing none. Okay. Don't go anywhere. Jessica, I think we have another item and co-chairs, expanding CDASS.
Hi, John. Hi, everyone. So this is a 2-parter, and it was added to the agenda through our agenda topic request form. So thank you, everyone, for utilizing that. It's a 2-part request, and so I will pass it over to Christine or Eileen to take the first half, and then I'll do the second half.
Hi, it's Christine again. I'll take this one. So I think the first part of the request had been to discuss the possibility of integrating support broker or support brokerage. And in our last PDPPC meeting, I did provide an update. We did discuss information and assistance, which did include discussion around support broker at our February CDASS CFC work groups. And so I just figured I could kind of go over what that information I provided last month. And additionally, I think you all would have received a copy of the written version of this document as well. So hopefully you can refer to the documents to see that as well. But during that work group, we had 27 participants join us for that discussion. And in that meeting, the department did share that due to abbreviated timelines and many large projects, such as case management redesign and the implementation of the care and case management tool, amongst many other things, the department does intend to keep the structure of CDASS vendors largely the same. And so that would mean that the department is intending to procure one training and operations vendor. And that training and operations vendor would provide what they normally have been, which is training for members, ARs, case managers, and IHSS agencies, assistance with operations supports for our self-directed programs. But then the additional piece would be some potential support broker activities. The department with stakeholders is, it was made clear that there are some gaps between what our case management agencies, our training operation vendors, and our FMSs can really do to assist our CDASS members. And in a way to address those gaps, we would like to look at adding some potential support broker-like activities to our training and operations vendor contract. And that could include Medicaid resource navigation and community resource navigation. So that's things such as housing or English as a second language, food assistance, that type of thing. Assistance with emergency backup planning, monthly allocation utilization coaching, and assistance with attendant recruitment and retention. And so to make that a little more clear, to provide some clarification, the department at this time is not looking to put into place support brokerage, but what we do recognize is that there are some gaps in what our current system offers, and we'd like to build that into our current structure. So I hope that addresses the question. And if you have any other questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out and to ask. More than happy to answer.
Looks like Robin has her hand raised.
Oh, go ahead, Robin.
Here I am. Yeah, I guess that I was actually one of the people that asked that this be put on the agenda. One is an outline of what I wanted and what's being presented, and it's not criticism. Is that I'm not sure everyone in the room today knows what a support broker is and what it is in different states, because clearly what you're describing is a very small part of what a support broker does in other states. I mean, I feel like a lot of what you're adding is what I thought case management was supposed to be doing. So, and I agree, they don't have the time nor the skills because of turnover to do it. So I'm hoping we're not just recreating another entity that doesn't have the time or the skills to do it. The idea that it's in case management for those additional resources is that they're local resources, and how can a statewide entity become an expert of every resource in the entire state of Colorado? So I'm concerned that this really isn't going to do what certainly I'm seeing support brokers doing in other areas. And the big one in my world, I advocate for folks with complex medical needs, is that the case managers simply don't have the skills to develop the task worksheet for someone with complex needs. They don't even know what questions to ask. So, if we're not having the new or existing company address that issue, then I'm incredibly disappointed by the outcome, because I'm still going to be getting these calls. And so like I said, it doesn't address the concerns I had, which is why I asked for this to be put on the agenda. And I don't think everyone on here has a good idea of what support broker looks like in other states. And, some use the consumer connection kind of people, some have do contracting. I mean, there's so many models of what it looks like and what they can do, and this definitely didn't meet my question and request for a presentation. Sorry.
Thank you, Robin, for your feedback. It's appreciated. We can certainly look into providing some additional resources that we have been able to find, and what we did share with the work group. As part of that work group, there was additional information provided about how other states do enact support broker and what support broker means to different states. And you're right, it is quite varied. Every state does do support brokerage or calls them different names and has a varied way of how they are paid and what their responsibilities are. And so you're correct, there is so much out there. I can provide the information that was provided to the work group as some additional resources that we can provide to all of PDPPC if that's something that would be helpful for certain. You can find on the CFC webpage, the stakeholder engagement webpage for CFC, the slides and the information that was provided to the work group. It is found on that website as well. So if you want to access that information now, that's where you can find it. In the meantime, I will get it together to provide to everyone via our normal PDPPC avenues to make sure.
Yeah, and that's what I was asking. The presentation you did at CFC, which I did not see, I would like it to be, maybe this is a co-chair request, that it be made part of the agenda and presented here. This is the group, not CFC. This is the group that directs participant directed policy. CFC, in my opinion, is a subgroup and it's perfectly fine. But this is the group that for 20 years has been directing policy. And that's where the presentation needs to happen.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Robin. Okay, Oliver, you're up next.
Yeah, hi, thanks, John. I wanted to echo a bunch of Robin's statements. I also work on the NCAPS team with Robin, and it's with 33 other states. And so we really got a good review of what other states are doing. I did appreciate I was there at the CFC meeting, Christine, and I did appreciate your information you included, but if I remember, it was only 1 or 2 states, I think New Mexico. But there's a lot of other states doing it. One of the biggest areas that I really see a deficit in is our case managers just fully understanding CDASS. And Robin brought up the task worksheet. I know there's been a rework, but I really think there should be a better way for case managers to determine our allocation. And I think the client, the participant being more informed and having a better understanding would really help that process and help the participants advocate for themselves and their needs. I think a support broker is an excellent place that, the participants could learn more about the very specifics of those things. So yeah, I just think a support broker could really help in that understanding of the participant and what the CDASS program does.
Okay, thank you very much, Oliver. Kurt, you're up next.
Sure, I just want to ditto everything Oliver said and Robin said. This is a group that helps direct policy. So those are great discussions hearing from CFC and others, but really we're the ones who put those proposals together to make things happen. Certainly the training and operations manager helping with some of that may help, but it's really, as Oliver said, more of an advocacy role, helping participants understand what time they can get and what they should get, as opposed to just relying on a case manager that may or may not have been trained. So I like the idea of that, and I like that we would continue to pursue that further, and looking forward to your presentation next month.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Nathan?
Something I noticed, we keep going back to what a case manager may or may not know. I've noticed in the time that I've been participating with this group, which is probably about 1.5 years now, we've heard multiple occasions, significant interactions with FMSs. I'm kind of wondering, what kind of transparency do we really have on case manager agencies and what those expectations for them are? Because I personally, and I would imagine many others, kind of feel like we don't really know what the standard is that they're supposed to meet. And I think this is a great amount of why we find such difference in knowledge and skills and abilities among individual case managers, if not perhaps even agencies.
Okay, thank you very much, Nathan. Looks like Jessica, you're up next.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to respond a little bit to your feedback, Robin, about our approach to this agenda item. And again, I want to acknowledge that we're taking a new approach with soliciting requests from you all through our form. The request was very, might I say, vague. It was like a sentence, and I did connect offline to get some clarity around what was being asked, what was expected, what was needed. And so I want to personally apologize for not quite understanding or hitting the mark there, but I think what would be helpful for the department, for our unit, moving forward with this approach is if you do fill out the topic request form, providing as much information about what it is that you want covered, how you would like it covered would be also very helpful. And if there is anything that you're not quite sure how to put down in the form or flesh out to give us this level of detail, you can always reach out to us by phone and we can talk through it. So I want to just encourage you all to think about that, because we definitely did not know what exactly you were asking for. And now that you've explained it, I think it's clearer to us. And we will discuss it more next month. But thank you for that feedback, and hopefully our feedback to you all is also helpful.
Thanks, Jessica. I thought I saw Stephanie's hand up and looks like it's lowered, but Stephanie, did you have a comment?
I did, thank you. As a manager of a single entry point, I just wanted to reiterate that case managers go through very extensive training regarding CDASS and IHSS. I don't think that it's lack of training that is an issue or a lack of understanding CDASS. I think that there are a lot of components involved, and a lot of that is around Volume 8 and the regulations that our case managers have to follow when authorizing care. And so I think a lot of times it's because of that component that our case managers sometimes cannot authorize what everyone is asking for. But it's a little disheartening just to hear, so much negativity towards case managers when they truly just want to help and do what's best for all of their clients.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, well, excuse me, Robin, looks like you're up next.
Thank you, Stephanie. I wanted to clarify my comments were not negative on case managers. Case managers, the ones that I've worked with, are amazing, and they love the extra support that I can give them as an advocate with an understanding of complex medical needs. I think what we're asking of case managers is unrealistic. They have huge caseloads. And for the folks that I worked with when I help family members usually draft the task worksheet, and we can give it to the case manager with justification for each and every minute. It takes me hours. I mean, sometimes 6 to 8 hours to get through it with family members over the course of a few weeks, so that they're tracking what they're doing, and they can accurately reflect what they're doing. So this was not a criticism of case managers. It's a criticism of we're asking people to do something that they don't have the time or expertise, and we're being unfair to the case managers. I just want to clarify, mine was not a criticism of case managers. They cannot be an expert on every single waiver, every program within the waiver, and every disability represented by every single waiver. That is absolutely unreasonable for us to expect that.
Thanks very much, Robin. Nathan, looks like you have your hand up
Yeah,
again, and then we'll get started.
Robin, well put. That's exactly right. And I think the commentary is really to inspire feedback and input and participation like we just got from you. I would definitely say it would be worth having that type of interaction and a segment designated for it so that we can hear your feedback as well from the agencies, find out what it is that sometimes we can help those case managers with as the participants or the ARs as well. I know that I myself personally had gone through at one time 6 case managers in 1 month, and that was just because of turnover. And I actually interacted a lot, extracted a lot of information, and provided what information I could to help new case manager each time provide assistance to me, help them help me. And since then, one of the case managers back then I worked with that way has actually been there now over a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe longer. So I know that there's a lot of rapid acquisition of knowledge that they have to try to take in and survive in that environment. So I would definitely encourage establishing some segments here for that interaction so we can hear what the difficulties, like you said about, I think you called it volume 8, things like that. That way we can get clarity and perhaps establish a more fair level of communication between the agencies and participants and the group and so forth.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Kurt Wolf?
Yes, again, Robin, great job. And the case managers, as you mentioned, Nathan, who are here for more than a few weeks or a month, do actually a very good job. I think of a broker, a support broker, like a real estate broker, it's a two-way street. That person is looking at two people's needs. And really, I think a lot of people on CDASS don't necessarily know what questions they should ask, as opposed to just leaving it up to the case manager to kind of determine based on their set questions. So I think there's that kind of line of what the CDASS person's rights are or what they should be asking for or how to ask for it. And that's, I think, where a broker, more like a liaison type person, might be a good fit for our situation between case managers. We're obviously way too busy. Personally, I got a great case manager right now. She's doing an outstanding job for me. So, but she's been around for about 1.5 years now, maybe 2 years. So with that said, though, there are good ones and some are just too busy. So just think of a broker more as that liaison between two different entities. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. And that brings us to the end of the queue. So I believe I have another piece to this topic. Jessica?
Yeah, so the other piece, as I received clarification on, related to goods and services. So goods and services, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is a part of some self-directed programs that really allow individuals to choose specific goods and services that help them achieve their goals. And this is in support of their care needs. So some examples might be technology, or home mods was the example that was provided. Other CDASS does not currently have goods and services. Other states we know do provide this. And for those programs, the FMS typically manages the procurement on behalf of members. We'll just say that the PDP is happy to research a recommendation for including goods and services in CDASS if you all would like to see that. And so please review the recommendation process if needed, or go ahead and submit one, and we'll definitely get to work to address it formally. In terms of the home mod example that was brought up, again, we understand that some state programs who do goods and services have that part of the goods and services package, but in Colorado, we do have that as a standalone benefit. And so anyone who is interested or in need of a home modification should reach out to their case manager to talk more about that benefit and then pursue it if they're eligible. I can put in the chat the HOMODS benefit webpage. I know for those of you who are calling in, this is not accessible and it would be quite long to read out the URL, but if you were to go to the HCPF website and just type in home modification, it'll come up in the search. So hopefully that helps to provide a little bit of information. Again, not quite sure the extent to which this topic request wanted information, but as we have been messaging for quite some time now, any interest in expanding or changing policy, changing what is included in our CDASS and IHSS benefits should come through as a formal recommendation from PDPPC stakeholders. And so we will keep an eye out for that if that comes through. Thanks, John.
Sure, Jessica. There is a hand up, and also there's a question in the chat from Cheryl. Would this be paid out of excess? Where am I? Would this be paid out of SS budget monies at the end of the search?
So Cheryl, as we understand it, there's a few different ways that this could be funded. One of the main ways is that it is a separate bucket of money, if you will, to the service allocation. And so an individual would talk to their case manager about what types of goods and services they might see themselves needing in the future. And then with the case manager, they would there would be an assessment of how much money would be needed for the certification period. And so when other states have done this, that money is only allocated for goods and services. If any of it is unused, it can't revert back into personal care, homemaker services, to pay your caregivers. And it does not roll over until the next year, just like a CDASS allocation. That said, again, there's probably a few different ways it's approached, and I am not in a position to run through all the specifics of that right now, but again, we are happy to do more research if this is something you all are interested in.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Robin, you're up next.
Hi again. I'm learning the form, Jessica. Sorry. But actually, this was perfect. So I would like to see a subcommittee on the next step to come up with a formal proposal for this idea of I'd like it to be a separate benefit of other goods and services, and perhaps use the excess funds as a way to fund that new benefit. And I think Massachusetts is doing it that way. But relative to the home modification program and also transportation, there are states that are doing a consumer-directed model of home modifications. You receive a budget, and then you're able to choose your own contractor. What we found personally is the home modification is so administrative top-heavy and takes so long that it's not real useful. And we're seeing a lot of fraud by contractors. Everything costs $12,000. And again, maybe it's a discussion for another day, but I think a consumer-directed model where we're responsible for the funding would alleviate that issue. I know we asked for a doorway to be widened, and the Medicaid contractor wanted $5,000, and our local contractor wanted $500. So, I mean, that tells you that the issue. So if we're responsible for the budget, I think we can make better decisions. So when I said expanding CDASS, it was looking at, yes, other goods and services, but also looking at current benefits, and can we create a consumer-directed model for things like non-medical transportation would be one that I think other states are doing right now. They're using Uber and other places like that. So that was kind of the background that I had, but I think we can move forward on a subcommittee. And sorry, I'm looking at time. I have to pick up my grandchildren in 2 minutes. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Robin. That brings us to the end of the queue, and thanks everyone for the comments you put in the chat, and obviously the comments you've given. Jessica, does that, maybe I'm ahead of myself, does that wrap this up for today?
I think so. You'd have to forgive me, John. I know Robin just asked for a subcommittee, so I don't know what our process is for that. I don't know if there needs to be a vote
Well,
for that. I
think-
can't remember what we've done in the past, I'll say.
Right. Let me, certainly Robin can create the subcommittee. Let me help that out by just saying, is there anyone else who's interested in being on such a subcommittee? I think Robin's in the meeting and, oops, she's got to go. If anyone is interested in that and they want to get in touch with Robin, Robin, if you're still there, would it be okay if I gave them your contact information? Yes. Okay. She put her email into the chat. Anyone who's interested in that, you can contact me. I'd be glad to give you her email. And if you don't have internet, her phone number. Okay. And sounds like CCDC might be able to be involved after session is over. I think that's where we leave it for the moment, Jessica. So we are ahead of schedule again, but not nearly as much as we were. So I'm going to make the decision to have us take the break early. Instead of 2:25, it's now 2:18. So let's come back at 2:28 p.m. and we will at that point get started with the breakout rooms. So everybody, see you in 10. Okay, everyone. Hello again. This is John Barry, and we are back from our break. It's 2:28, almost 2:29, perhaps. Sorry, I'm a little late. So we are moving into the breakout room period then, and I will let Jessica lead us off.
Yeah, so the breakout rooms, we have 3 of them: members only and home support services, IHSS, FMS training, and a case management breakout room. So 3. Everyone will have everyone who's logged on through their computer should see a pop-up right now, and you have the ability to choose which room you want to go into. Those of you calling in, hang back and John will help to assign you to the room that you'd like to go into.
Okay, thank you. And
Don't see any pop-up.
you didn't see a pop-up?
No.
Okay, Jerry, what are the last 3 digits of your phone number?
0842.
842. Ooh, I don't see it.
I'm not on the phone. I'm on the website.
There we are. Okay, I see you, Jerry. I will assign you, go into the Families Members Advocates group.
Thank you.
Sure.
I didn't get a pop-up either.
Go.
This is Tara Goldsby. I didn't get a pop-up and I'm on the computer.
Okay, which group would you like to go into, Tara?
I can't remember what the groups were.
Well, we have members only, IHSS, and then the FMS training case management. It's members, families, advocates, IHSS, or FMS issues.
Family
training.
Family advocate.
Okay.
The
Sure.
join
And I'll
breakout-
just
the join breakout room disappeared, but if you click on the buttons where it says more, it will take you to the room as well.
Thanks, Marcia. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. I'm going to hop into the FMS room real quick, but yes, go to the menu at the bottom of your screen if you're not seeing the breakout rooms. It'll give you the option. Apologies.
Okay. If anyone else wants help with that, I'm right here. John Barry, let me know.
Renee, members.
And Renee, the last 3 digits of your number?
762.
Got it. Anyone else need help? Want some help? I don't know if Nathan is back with us. Okay, if anyone else wants or needs any help, just let me know.
Nice. Sorry, everybody. Cheers. We'll pick that up later. Have a good day.
Same here for our group.
Oh, we
Hey,
were
welcome
into
back,
it, loving
everybody.
it.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John again.
So it's good
we
to,
are,
like, breakouts were very productive today.
well, good. Well, Nate, on the note of Nathan's comment, I would just say that obviously what occurs in the members' families advocates room is confidential. We, as the department, will always be looking for feedback if people feel like that continues to be a worthwhile thing to hold as part of our meeting, and sounds like it is. But so we will move now to the subcommittee and work group report out. First item on the bullet list has been covered earlier today. We are not having any report this month related to utilization review, utilization management. So let's see if there's any report from the IHSS group subcommittee. These subcommittees are now being held during the breakout room each month. Any report there?
Hey, John, it's Christine again from the department. We did not have a whole lot. We weren't as productive, I have to be honest, as the other two groups, it seems. We did come back a little early, but we just reviewed some of the more recent deficiencies that have been cited at IHSS agencies by CDPH&E, and we talked a little bit more about CFC as a group. That's all I have as an update.
Okay, thank you. And I am briefly looking at a question here just to make sure I'm covering everything. Okay. With that, then, I believe we will be moving, unless anyone on the team, there's anything I'm missing, we'll be moving to the open forum number 2. So again, I will ask for people to give me your name if you have an item for the open forum. And you can do that by raising your hand in the webinar, typing your name in the chat. Danny, thank you. Or you can unmute your phone if you're on the phone only, *6, give me your name. Let's see, we have Nathan. And anyone else? Okay, I'll be looking for names if people do that in the next few minutes while these two are talking. Nathan, let's start with you.
Hi, John and everyone. I don't think Kurt is with us anymore on this meeting today. I was speaking with him in the break briefly, and I had sent a documented text to him about now that we are kind of have a couple of the things that we regularly were handling behind us, like the age limit and the barrier crimes topics. We had another formally proposed agenda item that was in paperwork, was disseminated, and it was on the topic of trying to solve problems of hard to, or I guess we termed it as difficult to cover hours or tasks and emergent situations, and the process for who can and cannot be paid for those types of things, more so the proposal of an AR being able to fill those very specific items. Also using an ASMP to target and identify those special needs, just like we would for seasonal changes that are predictable. These are predictable difficulties. And so that discussion was had to bring that back up. ASMP, the document that we have to utilize for the beginning and development of a program for CDASS, the Attendant Support Management Plan. So I will, yeah. Thanks for that note. I will kind of talk with him a bit more to bring that back up, but also maybe I know you had disseminated that proposal in writing before, John. Maybe you can do that again to refresh for everybody, and we can look towards next meeting towards discussing that further and trying to further get this handled. Yes, the apps, as Adam states in the chat, great tool for assisting with management of the program. Absolutely, and it's a place where currently is initially designated for similar type things like this. And we would just be looking to utilize that same tool along with potentially our other tools like EVV and, you know, that we have implemented now for all the protections and guidance of these programs.
Nathan, this is John. I have a question for you. When you mentioned earlier about discussing it next month, did you mean during the member advocate family breakout or the meeting itself?
Well, yeah, the meeting itself. We were actually at a spot of we had the proposal formal, and this is why I would consult with Kevin and Kurt to have them be prepared for that next step in that meeting. That's where we were at. And then all of a sudden, we might have also had a month off. I think it was in the holiday portion of the year. And by the time we came back and we had something else big that was focused on, it sort of just disappeared. And like I say, now that we've got a couple of those big issues off the table, I think it's a perfect time to revisit that and forward it with the progress that we had before. So definitely an agenda item.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, Danny, you're up next.
Sorry, trying to find the unmute. I just wanted to speak for the Participant Directed Programs Unit and just let everyone know that we have recently acquired a phone number for our team directly. So when there's initiatives that our entire team has been working on, instead of having one point of contact, we have a shared box now, similar to our Participant Directed Programs shared email box. So I just wanted to share the phone number with everybody. So if you need to call anyone from our team, you can call us at 303-866-5638. And again, the Participant Directed Programs Unit phone number is 303-866-5638. And you can also continue emailing our team at pickpuff_pdp@state.co.us. That's all I had about
that. Okay, thank you very much, Danny. Is there anyone else for the who has an item for the open forum number 2? You can raise your hand in the webinar. You can type your name in the chat. You can unmute your phone *6. Okay. Hearing none, I will mention that next month we're on again for the 4th Wednesday, April 26th, 1:00 p.m. And the recording of this meeting I will commit to get posted online and send an email out to the list with the link to that by a week from Friday. That's the latest. I hope to get it out sooner, but that's going to be my bottom line each month, is to try to do that. And with that, I will bring the meeting to an end. Thanks everyone for the great discussion today. We're ending quite early today. Sometimes that happens, not very often, but you all have 50 minutes back of your day. So thanks everybody, and we will look forward to hearing from you in your next month. Thanks.
Did we have Kevin Smith still on the call?